Today we're taking you through the foggy streets of London, a city that's been hosting royalty, rebels, and reign since time immemorial. They say when a man is tired of London, he's tired of life. Or maybe he just can't afford the rent anymore. London, the capital of both England and overcast weather, boasts a history that's as thick and convoluted as its famous pea soup fog. Here you can walk in the footsteps of famous figures like Shakespeare, Churchill, and that guy who invented the sandwich. Yes, real historical game changers. The city's rich tapestry includes the Romans deciding this was a great pit stop for an empire, followed by various others who dropped by, Vikings, Normans, and eventually tourists, wielding selfie sticks. Each left their mark, mainly by building stuff and then watching it burn down several times. You've got the Tower of London, where royals played a deadly game of musical chairs, and the Houses of Parliament, where modern politicians play a much less deadly, albeit equally confusing version. Now, onto the nightlife, because what's a city without a way to forget? You've spent £10 on a pint. London's nightlife is as diverse as its population. From the chic clubs in Mayfair, where you can spend a small fortune just to listen to music you don't like, to the historical pubs in East London, where you can sit in the same seat that Jack the Ripper might have used. Too grim? Don't worry, there's always another pub around the corner. If you prefer something a bit more cultured, London's West End offers shows where the actors sing about everything from falling in love to the French Revolution. Nothing says entertainment like harmonising about guillotines, right? And let's not forget Camden, where the alternative and the anarchic mingle, and you can buy anything from vintage clothes to, well, more vintage clothes. But if you really want to see Londoners let loose, just wait for a sunny day. You'll see a mass exodus to the nearest square of grass to celebrate the annual 15 minutes of permitted sunshine with a picnic that suspiciously resembles several rounds of drinks. So, grab your umbrella, you'll need it, charge your Oyster card, you'll use it, and dive headfirst into the cultural melting pot of London. Whether you're here to trace the steps of the royals, watch a football match, or just sip tea and judge passers-by, London promises to be, well, expensive, but also fun. First, we're zooming into Soho, the neon-drenched proof that Londoners can indeed stay awake past 9 PM. Soho, not to be confused with the New York one, is London's premier spot for anyone looking to lose their wallet, dignity, and possibly their shoes. It's a cultural mosaic. If the culture you're into involves dodging tourists, street artists, and the occasional celebrity in disguise, this little neighbourhood is what you'd call historically hip. By day, it's all quaint coffee shops and overpriced organic markets, but as the sun goes down, Soho laughs in the face of daytime sobriety and cranks up the volume. The streets come alive with everything from dive bars and ritzy clubs to those questionable establishments where the cocktails cost more than your accommodation. Bars in Soho, they're as packed as the last train home on a Friday night. You'll find everything from trendy speakeasies where the password is always password, to traditional pubs where the beer flows faster than the bartender's dry wit. Fancy a drink that comes with a sparkler, a side of live jazz, and a lecture on the origins of the gin you're drinking. Soho's got you covered, and let's talk about the clubs. Soho's glittering jewels. Here the bouncers are tougher than the quizzes on University Challenge, and getting past them feels like an achievement worthy of your CV. Inside, the music ranges from top 40 hits to obscure tracks that make you question your taste in music. Dance floors are packed, and everyone's moving rhythmically to the beat, or just rhythmically searching for cell signal. Don't forget the late night eateries, because nothing compliments a night of questionable decisions, like a greasy kebab or a gourmet burger that requires a small personal loan to afford. In Soho, the night isn't over until you've eaten something you'll regret in the morning. So, if your idea of a fun night out involves eclectic crowds, music that'll bust your eardrums, and a near guaranteed hangover, then Soho is your kind of place. That's where London's heart beats loudest and its liver works hardest. Pack your patience, polish your party shoes and dive into the delightful chaos that is Soho. Just remember, what happens in Soho often ends up as a story you tell at parties for years to come. Camden. If London were a circus, Camden would be the sideshow alley. It's gritty, it's grimy, and it's unapologetically eclectic. Basically the teenager's bedroom of London. By day it's all alternative market stalls selling stuff that's as useful as a waterproof tea bag. But by night, Camden transforms into a buzzing hub of nightlife that caters to anyone whose idea of a good time includes more piercings than a stationery shop. Let's talk about the bars. Each one is quirkier than a Wes Anderson film. You've got your pick from rock bars where the music is loud enough to recalibrate your inner ear balance, to psychedelic pubs where the decor is so trippy, you might need to remind yourself that no, those walls aren't actually melting, and the music venues, for the venues. Camden is where live music comes to thrive. It's home to legendary spots that have seen the likes of Amy Winehouse and other less Amy Winehousey types. If you're looking to catch the next big thing before they're playing in someone's Spotify Wrapped, this is the place. Just elbow your way to the front and nod like you know all the lyrics. Then there are the night markets, because why limit shopping to daytime? In Camden, you can haggle over a vintage leather jacket or a questionable antique at 10 PM. Nothing says I'm living my best life, quite like eating street food you can't pronounce while browsing second-hand records. And, of course, we can't forget the food. Camden's eateries stay open late, serving everything from vegan delights that will make you question mate to street food that makes you question all your life choices. It's the kind of place where you can debate existentialism over a falafel, or just scarf down a burger while debating nothing at all. Shoreditch, the undisputed hipster kingdom of London, where the beards are long and the craft beers are longer. It's the place to be if you've ever wondered what life would be like inside a Pinterest board. By day it's all vintage boutiques and artisanal coffee shops where the baristas look like they've just walked off a fashion shoot. By night, it transforms into a playground for adults who still haven't decided if they're too cool for school or just too cool for everything else. The bars here are so hip they hurt. Each one is filled with reclaimed furniture, exposed brick, and light fixtures that look more suited to interrogating spies than lighting up a room. You'll find cocktails that are more complicated than your last relationship, featuring ingredients like lavender-infused sadness and a hint of organic, non-GMO, fair trade irony. And let's talk about the clubs. If you like your music loud and your dance floors crowded with graphic designers, amateur DJs, and freelance something or others, then you're in the right place. Shoreditch clubs are where you can dance to tunes spun by DJs who are probably also part-time vegan yoga instructors. The vibe is I'm not trying too hard, mixed with I spent 3 hours getting this look. Then there's the street food. Because nothing says Shoreditch like eating something from a truck that could either be the best meal you've ever had or a reason to call in sick tomorrow. The food ranges from gourmet burgers that come with a side of existential dread to tacos filled with kimchi and regret. It's all delicious, and if it isn't, you're probably just not cool enough to get it. Of course, no night in Shoreditch is complete without a visit to one of the pop-up art galleries where you can stare at things and pretend to be profoundly affected. These galleries are great places to meet people who use words like juxtaposition in regular conversation without a hint of irony. So, grab your most obscure band t-shirt, your thickest glasses, no prescription needed, and your sense of adventure as you dive into the night that is Shoreditch. It's quirky, it's fun, and yes, it's probably judging you a little bit. But dive in, have a drink, and remember, in Shoreditch, everyone's too cool to judge you to your face. Brixton, the birthplace of David Bowie and the go-to spot for anyone looking to experience nightlife with a side of edgy character, and a dash of are we sure this is still London? Known for its vibrant cultural scene and as a hotbed for all things music, food and fashion. This neighbourhood doesn't just embrace diversity, it throws it a welcome party, invites it to the front of the queue, and then writes a song about it. If you're looking for a sanitised cookie cutter night out, then, well, you might want to keep looking. The bars in Brixton are where the real flavour is at, each with its own twist and shout. You've got everything from tiny, dimly lit pubs playing reggae to larger-than-life venues where the cocktails come with names you can't pronounce, and prices that make you wish you'd just stayed home and watched Netflix. But where's the fun in that? Let's talk about the clubs. Brixton's clubs are the sort where you leave your inhibitions at the door and your word drums in the hands of whatever DJ is spinning that night. Here the beats are as diverse as the population, ranging from hip-hop to house, dancehall to disco. It's like a United Nations meeting, but with more dancing and less diplomacy. And if you get peckish, the street food here will take you around the world in 80 bites. From jerk chicken, that'll make your eyes water, to vegan delights that'll have you questioning whether you're really near the meat in your life. Brixton serves up a culinary carnival that reflects its eclectic ethos. But it's not just about what you can eat, drink and dance to, it's about the vibe. Brixton has a way of making you feel like you're at the centre of something important, something pulsing and alive. Maybe it's the murals that line the streets, the bass that thumps from the bars, or just the mix of people all out to have a good time. So grab your most comfortable sneakers, your open mind, and maybe a map, because let's be real, it's easy to get lost, and dive into the lively, slightly chaotic, but always unforgettable Brixton nightlife. Just remember to keep your wits about you and your wallet even closer. Brixton's full of surprises, but not all of them need to be shared with your bank manager. Welcome to Brixton, where the nights are long, the spirits are high, and the stories are almost too good to be true. We're strutting through London's West End, the glittering jewel in the city's slightly rusty crown. If you thought the West End was just about theatres and musicals, prepare to be mildly amused and slightly disillusioned. Here the streets are paved with the dreams of thespians, and occasionally with the late night kebab remains of theatre goers who thought they could handle one more pint. First up, the theatres. You can't swing a cat here without hitting a billboard for a show that's either a classic, a revival, or a musical adaptation of a movie that really didn't need to be sung. Want to see grown adults dressed as cats? That's quaint. How about an entire ensemble belting out tunes about French revolutions as you ponder the historical inaccuracies? Only in the West End? But there's more to West End's nightlife than just theatre. The bars and pubs here are teeming with life, offering everything from bespoke cocktails named after obscure Shakespeare quotes to historic pubs where the ale flows more freely than the Thames. It's the kind of place where you can debate the merits of Brechtian theatre with someone who thinks Brecht is a type of vegan cheese. And let's not overlook the clubs. If you can manage to stay awake after 3 hours of Les Mis, you'll find plenty of places ready to welcome you with thumping bass and a crowd that's either too young to appreciate a good night's sleep or too old to care. The West End clubs are where you can dance the night away, surrounded by tourists who think getting smashed in London is a cultural activity. Hungry after all that drinking and dancing? The West End's culinary scene is as diverse as the cast of any West End show. From the five-star restaurants where the bill makes you weep more than the climax of Phantom, to side street eateries where you can get a slice of pizza and questionable life advice from the guy behind the counter. So lace up your walking shoes, grab your wallet, and maybe someone else's if you plan to buy anything, and dive into the vibrant, exuberant and exhaustively expensive nightlife of the West End. It's the kind of place where you can lose yourself in the lights, the music and the credit card debt. Just remember, what happens in the West End stays in your Instagram stories, at least until you can't afford your phone bill anymore. Welcome to the West End, where every night is an encore and every bill is a tragedy. Lastly, for those in the know, London's underground party scene is where it's at. I'd tell you more, but then I'd have to. Well, you know. Let's just say, look for the door with no sign, give the sacred handshake and prepare for a night you probably won't remember. There you have it, a cynic's guide to a night out in London. Whether you're rubbing elbows with the city's elite, or getting cosy with a can of lager on a night bus, remember, every great London party ends with a quest for the Holy Grail, that elusive 24-hour kebab shop. Hit that like button if you've ever ended a night in London wondering where your shoes went. Subscribe for more brutally honest travel guides, and comment below with your favourite London nightlife horror story. Cheers, till next time, keep calm and party on. Or just go home and have a cup of tea. Sometimes that's better.